The little girl's voice was soft, almost lost in the noise of the street, but it hit him like a thunderclap that froze time itself. "Daddy, that's the lady who said she missed you." His breath caught in his chest. For a moment, the world around him blurred, the passing cars, the distant chatter, even the warmth of the afternoon sun. Everything faded into silence. All that remained was that single sentence, echoing over and over in his mind, dragging up memories he had buried so deep he thought they were gone forever. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. And tell me in the comments, do you believe people can truly change? He hadn't expected this. Not here, not now. It had been 5 years since Daniel had learned how to live with silence, 5 long years of raising his daughter alone, of building routines to keep himself steady, of convincing himself that the past was just that, the past. He had made peace with the idea that some stories don't get a second chapter. His daughter, Emma, held his hand tightly as they stood outside the small grocery store. She was only 6, but her eyes saw more than most people realized. She noticed things, felt things, and right now her small fingers tightened as if she sensed the storm building inside him. Daniel followed her gaze slowly, almost afraid of what he would see, and there she was, standing across the street, frozen in place just like him. Sophia. Time hadn't erased her, it had only softened her edges. Her hair was longer now, her face carrying a quiet kind of strength that hadn't been there before. But her eyes were exactly the same. The same eyes that once held his entire world. The same eyes that had once looked at him with love, and later, with heartbreak. His chest tightened. 5 years ago, everything had fallen apart. Back then, Daniel was a man constantly chasing something. Success, recognition, a future he thought would bring happiness. He worked long hours, came home exhausted, and slowly, without realizing it, began drifting away from the very people who mattered most. Sophia had tried to hold things together. She had waited for him at dinner tables that grew colder each night, stayed awake for conversations that never happened, and held on to hope long after it started slipping through her fingers. But love, no matter how strong, cannot survive neglect forever. The night she left was quiet, no shouting, no broken glass, just silence. She had packed her things slowly, carefully, as if each movement carried a piece of her breaking heart. Daniel remembered standing there, too stunned to react, too proud to stop her. He had told himself she would come back, that she just needed time. But time had turned into years, and in those years life had changed him. Emma had been just a baby when Sophia left. Raising her alone had stripped away Daniel's illusions. There were no shortcuts in fatherhood, no distractions, no escape. Every sleepless night, every small laugh, every tear Emma shed. It all forced him to grow into someone he had never been before. A man who listened, a man who stayed, a man who understood what it meant to truly love someone. And now, standing here, he realized something terrifying. He had become the man Sophia once needed, far too late. Emma tugged gently at his hand, pulling him back to the present. Her voice was innocent, but it carried a quiet certainty. She had spoken to Sophia before. Somehow, somewhere, their paths had crossed. Daniel's heart pounded as he took a step forward. Sophia did the same. The distance between them wasn't just a street. It was 5 years of regret, growth, pain, and unspoken words. Each step felt heavier than the last. Memories flooded his mind. The way she used to laugh, the way she would rest her head on his shoulder after a long day, the quiet strength she carried even when things fell apart. He remembered the last look she gave him before she walked out the door. Not anger, not hatred, just disappointment. That look had haunted him, and now, here she was again. When they finally stood face to face, neither of them spoke at first, because some moments are too big for words. Emma looked between them, her small face lighting up with a smile that carried none of the weight they both felt. To her, this wasn't complicated. It was simple. Two people who mattered, finally standing together. Daniel swallowed hard, his voice struggling to find its way out. He wanted to say so many things, to apologize, to explain, to tell her how much he had changed, but none of it felt like enough. Sophia's eyes shimmered slightly, but she held herself steady. There was no anger there anymore, just something softer, something careful. Time had healed parts of her too. She had left not because she stopped loving him, but because she had to protect herself from slowly disappearing in a life where she felt unseen. Those years apart had taught her something important, that love should not feel like loneliness. And yet, seeing him now, something stirred, because the man standing in front of her wasn't the same man she had left behind. There was a quietness in him now, a presence, the kind that doesn't rush, doesn't avoid, doesn't run. She noticed the way he held Emma's hand, not loosely, not distracted, but with care, as if it was the most important thing in the world. That was new, and it mattered. Emma suddenly stepped forward, breaking the fragile silence, her small hand reaching out toward Sophia with a natural warmth that only children possess. There was no hesitation in her, no history to weigh her down, just connection. And in that moment something shifted, because sometimes the future doesn't wait for the past to fully heal. Sometimes it simply walks in and asks for a chance. The conversation that followed wasn't dramatic. There were no grand speeches, no perfect words, just honesty, slow, careful honesty, the kind that takes courage. Daniel didn't try to defend himself. He didn't make excuses. He simply admitted the truth, that he had failed, that he had lost something precious because he didn't understand its value at the time. And Sophia listened, not as someone trapped in the past, but as someone who had grown beyond it. She didn't promise anything. She didn't pretend everything could go back to the way it was. Because it couldn't, but she didn't walk away either. Because sometimes closure isn't about ending a story. It's about deciding whether a new one can begin. Days turned into weeks. They didn't rush. They met in small moments, coffee shops, quiet parks, simple walks. Emma became the bridge between them, her laughter filling the spaces where words once struggled. Trust wasn't rebuilt overnight, but it started to grow, slowly, gently, real. Daniel learned to listen, not just to words but to silences, to understand that love isn't proven through promises but through presence. Through showing up again and again, even when it's difficult. Sophia learned something too, that people can change, not always, not easily, but sometimes, truly, and that sometimes the hardest thing isn't letting go, it's allowing yourself to believe again. If you've made it this far and this story is touching your heart, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe for more stories that remind us what really matters. Your support means everything. And before we reach the end, I have a special request. Comment below the word second chance if you believe that love deserves another try when it's real. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in shades of gold, they sat together on a park bench, Emma playing nearby, her laughter echoing in the background. Daniel looked at Sophia, not with desperation, not with regret, but with quiet hope. He didn't ask for the past back. He didn't demand a future. He simply stayed. And this time, she didn't leave. Because sometimes life doesn't give you the same love twice, but sometimes it gives you a better version of it. One built not on perfection, but on growth, understanding, and the courage to try again. And as Emma ran toward them, her small hands reaching for both of theirs, the space between past and future finally began to disappear. Not completely, but enough. Enough for a new beginning.